Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the If You Know, You Know, Navigating Brand Growth with SMS webinar. We're excited to get started today with my team. So in today's webinar, we're going to start with introductions on everybody here, why SMS marketing. Then we're going to start at the beginning, growing your list, jumping to how we personalize campaigns, and then how we use SMS as a customer service platform. My name is Lauren Costanza. I'm the Senior Lifecycle Marketing Manager at Hawke Media. I've been working with Skout's Honor for about a year now, helping them grow their lifecycle marketing channels from email to SMS. And I'm going to go ahead and let Alex introduce himself.
Thanks, Lauren. I'm Alex Beller. I am extremely excited to be here today. Love the Hawke team, like what Skout's Honor is doing a lot. So I'm excited to share this with all of you. And the reason I'm here and speaking at you is because I'm one of the founders of Postscript. And Postscript is one of the largest SMS platforms for e-commerce. So the only thing that we do, and the only thing I do, is work with merchants on Shopify, helping them build their SMS strategies. And for us, that means way more than just like abandoned carts or campaigns. It's a lot more than marketing, which we're going to talk about today. And so Postscript works with just about 4,000 e-commerce brands. So I'm super excited to share some of that knowledge and some of the best practices that I see.
And Elise, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yeah, hi, I'm Elise Tesla. I am the Digital Marketing Manager for Skout's Honor. I've been with Skout's Honor for about 5 years. I've been the Digital Marketing Manager for about 2 years, and we've been working with Postscript for about 7 months now.
So we're going to start with Alex talking about why SMS and what great things he's seen with custom companies that use the platform, and introduce kind of what Postscript can do for everybody.
Yeah, so why SMS? I answer this question and it comes at me in many different forms all the time. Oftentimes marketers or owners at brands their first impression is like, hey, isn't this like an annoying or intrusive channel? Or is this going to like disrupt my email income? Or I don't know if my user base is like ready for this. There's like lots of questions about like, is the timing right for text messaging or for SMS? And we strongly believe that the answer to that question is yes. We're seeing SMS become a mainstream channel for e-commerce brands. Like I said, Postscript works with 4,000 of them. Hawke helps operationalize it for many, many customers. And the reasons are pretty straightforward. So from the actual marketing perspective, right, in terms of like, is this a high ROI channel? Engagement with SMS is very, very high. It's kind of like the first decade of email, right? You're seeing incredibly high open rates, very, very high click-through rates, and very high rates of revenue per message. Maybe you're spending a couple cents per message, but you're generating dollars of income. So the ROI is extremely strong. But if you take a step back from those like statistics of the raw performance of the channel, and you think about like where we are in the world of e-com, what we see is that consumer expectations are changing all the time, right? And one of the biggest drivers of that is Amazon, right? Amazon is programming all the consumers out there to want an incredibly high level of customer experience. They want the lowest price with the most choice with free 2-day shipping. That's quite a thing for independent brands to compete against. But the one thing that every independent brand has that Amazon doesn't is a voice and the ability to have an actual personalized one-to-one relationship with the end consumer. And if you put aside the marketing use cases, that is what SMS delivers on. It's actually a two-way channel, and it's a very high engagement one. And end users, they not only subscribe to your brand and they want to hear about updates in marketing, but they want to go back and forth with you, and they want to have a personal relationship if they are a truly engaged customer of your brand. So it's really early for SMS, but we see that conversational aspect and that like really high engagement of the channel as being one of the most important aspects and why it's so relevant today. It is the antidote to changing consumer expectations. And that's why we're so excited about it.
Thank you. Yeah, SMS is very exciting. And I know even for me and Skout's Honor, when we decided to launch the channel, a lot of what you mentioned right now was what prompted us. And what kind of led us to sharing the webinar and why we started using it? it's definitely more than just about promotions on SMS. Like you mentioned, that two-way street, that journey we do with our customers together, from shipping logistics, review collection, even customer service. We're able to have a conversation, share our brand voice, and have more on one communication, really making a relationship.
I think that that's so well said. Like when I see the norms are still being set in SMS today. And when I see a lot of brands who they send a single message to their entire list twice a week, and it's the exact same thing, and it's a 10% off code to buy, like that is a huge miss. Thinking of this channel as email 2.0 and engaging with your customers that way, that is not like what is going to work long term. And the reasons are because end users, all of us, right? We have different expectations for how our SMS inbox is going to be treated than how our email inbox is going to be treated. So as a marketer, what I think about when I talk to marketers about all day as they're approaching SMS is the just vital importance of being incredibly aggressive with targeting, being extremely bold in how you like infuse messaging with your brand voice, and stepping outside of marketing and stepping outside of just promotions to think about what are the most important moments of customer engagement. That's what should be happening in the highest engagement channel, which right now is SMS. So of course, welcoming and doing education, right? When for new subscribers or users come in, but how about just non-promotion things like new product drops or shipping notifications or delivery notifications or customer support check-ins? I mean, I work with a brand who is running a book club with their SMS subscriber list. And it's like just really personal, highly engaged content that's totally separate from the marketing they do. But because of that, they see very low unsubscribe rates. They see really high engagement with the channel. So I definitely push a huge emphasis on not only being conversational, but also adopting use cases pretty far outside of purely like, here's the weekly 10% off code, go buy. That's missing the point of the channel.
Yeah, and I think Scout's Honor, like you mentioned, the book club, we get to have so much fun with it because people are talking about their dogs. Like everybody loves talking about their pet. You can see sharing pictures, telling us their names, what their favorite activity is, and that's what Elise and I really got to dive into that.
And like as a consumer, what I think about is how if I'm speaking to a brand and I'm sending them pictures of my pet, I'm definitely going to like buy from that brand again. Like there's a really personal relationship. I'm going to go back and back over and over again. So I think that's a pretty special, rare thing that is sort of anti what the last decade of e-commerce marketing has been, which is like scaled, more generic messaging across like the ad platforms.
Customers just want to be heard, and being able to respond to them very quickly, and them knowing that we're not just a robot, but we're actually a human on the other side of that phone, really makes them think of us in a higher regard. And we get, we love seeing the photos just as much as they love sending them. So it's been really fun.
Awesome.
I like that. I like that line. Customers just want to be heard.
Absolutely. New tagline. Before we dive into all the fun stuff we're already hinting at, I do want to take a step back and start at the beginning of how do you go from 0 to a full grown list? Using a lot of Postscript's recommendations, we got Skout's Honor to about 11,000 subscribers as of March 2021. Alex, do you want to share how Postscript helped us do that?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good rate of growth. So I'm going to cover some things here. If you want to go deeper, we just published this new in-depth guide on it, this QR code. If anyone wants to scan a Zoom call, I don't know if that's ever happened before. You can go ahead and do that and you'll be linked to like a longer form guide. So the way I think about a subscriber growth strategy is based on, it's unique to every brand and it should be based on how you all get engagement or traffic. So the baseline for this, and all these tools are like built out inside of Postscript, but the baseline for this is like, okay, we get a lot of website traffic. Great. Like you're probably utilizing pop-ups right now to capture email. Whether you use Postscript's tech or someone else's technology to do so and integrate it into Postscript, you should absolutely be also using those sorts of pop-ups to capture phone numbers. That's like top funnel or mid funnel. That's really smart. Getting beyond that though, and getting beyond the other like more entry level form of growing your list by getting subscribers at checkout, there's lots of other more creative ways to do it. So one of my favorite, it's actually highlighted here. It says convert your email list. Something that you can do with our integration with Klaviyo that I love is you can target users using Klaviyo's dynamic blocks, and it will only show the CTA if they haven't opted into your Postscript SMS list. And if they haven't, it'll be a CTA of join your VIP list or join your SMS list. And that's just a passive way to grow your subscriber list over time from folks who are already engaged with you on email. Some other creative ways, you can create opt-in links. They're called, we call them like opt-in links. And they're short links that can be embedded in Instagram stories. They can be trafficked through ads. They can be posted on Snapchat. And these will allow your fans or subscribers to opt in with a single click. They'll click it, then they'll send the sign up text. And the last thing that I'll highlight today is the first one. It says text to opt in. So we're going to be talking about keywords later, so I don't want to get too far into it, but you have the ability, if you're running billboards or if you're putting like little packaging inserts into your packages going out, you can also create a really, really simple call to action to have existing customers or potential new ones subscribe just by texting in a keyword, like texting Skout to 30303. That's a really easy native way to the channel to build a subscriber list as well.
Yeah, we definitely used a lot of these, and this is what led our journey with Skouts and exactly the steps you said. Started by trying to convert our email subscribers, sending them a campaign. Hey, we just launched a new channel. We have a new specific, we have a specific welcome offer for you to join our SMS list and be part of both. After we tried that, we set up this Postscript pop-up to collect phone numbers and emails. It was cool because we could do the mobile version and collect phone numbers first for those people browsing on their phone. And then using a different pop-up provider, we were able to do desktop and collect phone numbers second, kind of targeting users based on where they are in their journey and what device they're on, which is really important. And that's where we've been seeing a lot of our conversions right now. But we also try and do the occasional SMS exclusive sales. That's just another opportunity to remind our email subscribers, hey, this SMS channel is still here. If you're interested, we have an exclusive sale just for these customers. Make sure you get on that list. And then lastly, I know the Skouts team has been really good about posting that opt-in link on their social media channels. I know, Lisa, you've seen a lot of success posting it on Facebook to convert your users.
Yeah, I mean, people are on their phone all the time. And what better way to sign up for, marketing or getting in touch with a company by phone if you're already on your phone. So really having that ease of access, getting that coupon code for your first order instantly rather than having to go to your email to find it really makes it easier for them and easier for us to get it to them.
Absolutely. Now into the fun things we were hinting at the beginning. Those personalized campaigns. And jumping into SMS, we knew A/B testing, personalization were both really important things we wanted to dive into. One of the first ways we did that was A/B testing, SMS versus MMS. SMS messages are the 160 characters, copy only, no images. MMS includes the fun graphics, images, emojis, and gives you a little bit more space for those characters. We also did a customer review kind of A/B test as well, having a campaign featuring a specific product, specific customer review, and sending to past purchasers and to non-purchasers to see how those responded to that type of messaging. As well as specific sales to our past purchaser list, knowing that they're really VIPs, they're interested in our products, we know what they're shopping for and looking for. With the Puppy Bowl results, really interesting. We had SMS had a significantly higher click-through rate. So message with just text, no images, link, call to action. The conversion rate was slightly higher for SMS, but not as statistically significant. And both campaigns saw equal unsubscribe rates. So we found by sending SMS messages, it was a great way to get customers to our site to look at the content we were sharing with them. We started using this to send like blog post campaigns and things like that, where it's more important for the customer to be on the site. And then using those MMS messages when it's a fun sale or we have an engaging graphic we want to include. With the customer reviews, we also saw some really cool results. Both campaigns had similar click-through rates. but the conversion rate for subscribers who never placed an order was higher. This social proof user-generated content really pushed them to make their purchase. And now we know to occasionally send these types of messages that are featuring one of our best sellers, has great reviews, maybe a before and after picture of a dog to help us convert these non-purchasers. But we know our purchasers are already loyal, so this content isn't as engaging for them. And that's the importance of not just blasting something to everybody and making sure you're sending the right content to the different groups. Definitely was a cool learning experience, and we were really excited with what we saw.
Yeah, it definitely proved that, we don't always know, or we can't always assume, a customer is going to react a certain way. I was very, very shocked to know that the SMS without the photo performed better. Just upon initial thought, I thought that for sure would be the winner. So it's always important to test things out, because you may not always know what's going to make a customer or a potential customer react to something.
Exactly. On the other end of personalization is keywords and all the capabilities they let you achieve when sending SMS campaigns to users. Alex, can you talk to us about keywords and what they are and how they work?
Yeah. So keywords, it's funny that SMS is becoming hip and new again, because SMS is a really old technology. And if you all reach back into your histories and like think about this, an example of a keyword is like text Hawke to 30303 to sign up for updates from Hawke, or the same with Skout. A keyword is a word that end users will text in, and it can trigger a variety of different actions from your SMS program. So it can be used as a way to sign up or opt in users. It can also be used as a way to like tag users, or even trigger some sort of automatic reply, or funnel them into some sort of response-based flow. So it's kind of an old school thing, but we see it work very well. In fact, something that we see is end subscribers that come in through keyword channels, whether it's like the one-click technology or they're just finding the keyword in the wild, they tend to retain at a higher rate, and they tend to convert and purchase at a higher rate than folks opting in at checkout. So having some sort of like keyword active channel is a really good strategy. Users, they have to hit a higher bar to like engage and opt in, and they tend to stick around longer. But you can get really creative and fun with keywords, but at the same time, you want to just be like a little bit cautious and aware that like, okay, I don't want to pick something that's too much work to type in. And I also don't want to pick something that's like extremely hard to spell, or that will generate a lot of misspellings. Because given how compliance works in SMS, which is really, really tight and restricted, if someone means to type in my name, Alex Beller, and they type in Alex Bell, they like won't be opted in, no reply will happen. So you want to pick something that's spellable and easy to read, but can still elicit some sort of reaction.
Yeah, we definitely learned that firsthand. One of our first keyword campaigns was trying to see if people are shopping for dogs or cats, and trying to hunt them with that. In the keywords, we did shop dogs, shop cats, but did not take into consideration the autocorrect's going to add the space in. Sometimes
no.
Going to send emojis of the dog or cat, because that's how we text nowadays.
Right.
One other one was that people sent the names of their pets and know what type of pet, just Roy, Kevin, and Spot is who I'm shopping for.
Yeah.
So we actually reached out to the Postscript chat support, which is always there waiting for us. And they recommend changing it to Hal and Purr. And ever since then, it's very much streamlined the process and took out some of that troubleshooting we needed to do in the beginning.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah, it was super cool.
The auto fix, the spelling fix, it's a troublemaker with keywords. That's a good lesson.
The other cool feature was I was able to actually help a lot of those customers out by responding to them and saying, oops, that didn't work, try typing just shop dogs, before we could actually make that change and figure out what the best option was going to be. So that having that option to kind of give them guidance on what to do is also very helpful.
Yeah, another situation where the customer service was at play. And then once we segmented these users, we've now been able to send specific campaigns for what they've opted into. So it's almost like the managed preference for email, but it's all happening from their phone. They're never having to go to a different screen, and they're already hand selecting the content they're receiving from us on a weekly basis. And now, Lisa, I'm going to let you take the floor and talk about how you've been able to use SMS as a customer service and what that's meant for your company in Skout's Honor.
Thank you, Lauren. Yeah, we onboarded SMS thinking it was going to be strictly kind of like a promotion platform. And we started getting a whole ton of responses from customers. And that was kind of unexpected, but also fun. And we realized that customers really love getting that quick help and quick answers to the questions that they have, which really helps with, not stopping them in their journey of placing an order. The quicker they can get an answer to a question, the quicker they can get help, the quicker they can place their order, which is great. I think having that option to be able to have a conversation back and forth with them really shows that, number one, we're human. They're not talking to an automated system, which is really important nowadays. And then also shows that we actually care. We care about our customers. And I think this gives us a greater reputation, and it can even increase referrals. So they're going to want to talk to their friends and family about, the experience they had with Skout's Honor because it was so awesome. Knowing they can get, easy customer service in this platform rather than having to wait for an email. It's so quick, which is one thing I really love about it. And really, not only the customer loving the quick interaction, but me loving it as well. I can help a customer super quickly so I can get back to the other things that I need to do in my day. And really, not having to look back and try to remember what the problem was. I'm just getting it done pretty quickly. So it's been a big help to us and to them. We've even generated some user-generated content. As you can see, our customers love sending us photos of their dogs, and we've gotten before and after photos of how much our product has helped their pet. And reviews, we get reviews sent to us without even asking for them. So I think having so much more than just another platform to increase revenue, but just kind of increase the overall customer journey and the overall experience with the company is great. We also have a paw pledge program where we feed animals in need with every purchase, and being able to quickly let people know that their purchase helped feed animals in need is, an awesome way for them to feel good about their purchase. So I've been very happy with the customer service. I haven't given SMS to my customer service team yet because I love to handle it on my own. So yeah, so it's been a really great experience.
That's awesome. And I want to give a quick shout out to how it helped you continue to show your brand voice. Everybody will see on the screen right now, somebody ordered a black bean Crunchwrap Supreme from Skout's Honor the other day, and Elise had fun with the response going, "Unfortunately, we're not Taco Bell, but enjoy your meal." So it's these little moments like this that just really spark fun, spontaneity, and just continuing that creativity that really shines at our company and getting people excited about it. So we're reaching the end of the presentation. Want to do a quick kind of do's and don'ts of what we've learned so far and our advice when you go to launch SMS moving forward. It's a fun brand platform. You get to have fun with your brand voice, get to know your customers, be there to A/B test different types of campaigns, get excited, try new things, see what works, what doesn't work. Make sure you're offering opportunities for personalized content, using the keywords to create kind of managed preferences. How do you want to sign up, to promote sales, and take advantage of Postscript's templated automations. You're ready to launch as soon as you sign up on Postscript, and there's a lot of different automations that will help you continue to make revenue in the back end of the platform. On the don't side, don't overthink it. Don't make assumptions about what people want to hear from you. Take into consideration autocorrect when creating those keywords. Like Alex said, you want to make it easy, simple, quick to spell, and don't have to worry about missing an L or an E or seeing vowels run together. Don't feel like you have to send messages if you don't have anything to say. Don't send 2 messages a week just to blast everybody. Really take the time and see what is going to speak to your audience. And similar, don't blast the same content. Everybody's going to be different in what they're wanting to hear from you. Alex or Elise, do you have any do's and don'ts you want to add?
I want to steal Lisa's thunder and encourage folks to think of this as more of a more than a marketing channel. It's a two-way one, and that like everyone should be thinking of like, how does the support strategy layer in? I think that's so important. It keeps users happy. It keeps unsubscribes low, and it also blows their mind. People aren't expecting this. So I would throw that in as well. As like, as you approach this channel, think about what is the two-way strategy and how does support fit in?
Yeah, I agree. I think, Lauren, you covered it pretty well with the do's and don'ts.
Awesome, great. Then we're excited to open up to Q&A. First Q&A I see is, how scalable is one-on-one text to customers? As a 2-person operation, we don't think it'll be very viable. Any advice? Elise, do you want to speak to that since you've been the one managing the customer service side?
Yeah, we do. We actually have a customer service team, and I have been able to manage our SMS program since its inception for about 7 months. I handle it alone. So, I mean, of course, each company is going to, have a different amount of responses that they get from customers. You might have a ton, you might not have many. I think it depends on probably the genre of your business as well a little bit. But I have been able to manage it. I'm the digital marketing manager. I'm no longer in customer service as I once was. So I've been able to handle it pretty, we have over 11,000 subscribers, and I've been able to handle it pretty easily. And I think because it's such a fun channel, I love being able to talk to our customers. It makes it a little bit easier for me. And I think also just letting them know, maybe you don't have time to answer their questions. Just let them know, say, hey, we're a little busy today. So please, give us a little bit of time. We will get back to you. They're very understanding, especially if they know that it is a person on the other end and not a computer. So just be open and honest with them about that. I think that's the most important part.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think Elise nailed it. For people that want like the really tactical take, what I've seen is, obviously in the perfect world, consumers text in and they get an immediate, perfect branded response from you. But that's pretty far from reality. So there's a few tactical tips I would say for managing responses with a low headcount team. The first is that you can kind of expect when the majority of responses are going to come in. And that's when campaign sends are going out. If you're sending a campaign to 10,000 people, that's going to generate many more responses than the like drip sequence abandoned cart that's happening one at a time. So you can kind of expect like, oh, after this campaign goes out, I'm going to log in and take care of stuff. Secondly, there is a signal to noise ratio in responses. And I'm sure Elise sees this all the time, where for every text you get about like, hey, this is cool, but where's my last order? You're going to get a text of like, I'm driving right now, I'll call you back. Or like other like people thinking that you're their spouse, or like just, you get a lot of noise. And so logging in on an occasional basis, even daily, to do a quick scan, and then taking care of anyone who needs it, and then being a little bit more prepared with campaigns, that's a good 80-20 way to manage these. Because though, of course, we would love to have instantaneous responses, I don't think that's always what consumer expectation is. I think it's fine if it takes you or your team a little while to get back, just depending on circumstances or depending on weekdays.
Yeah, I agree. I think I definitely don't answer every single message because it just doesn't need to be answered. I think that, yeah, there's a lot of I'm driving right now, or even just thank yous, so not everything is something that is going to need a response to.
Yep.
Awesome. Next question we have is, Is there specific demographic trends you see in those who respond to SMS and MMS messages? I feel like for our audience, it depends on the audience of the company. So I know Scouts Honor runs a little bit younger, mid-aged pet owners. So those are who we see responding and starting that conversation. But I'm not sure, Alex, do you see anything different, or at least?
Yeah, my demographics are cat people and dog people. So it's a little bit different for us. We kind of categorize our customers a little bit differently. People who have a higher average order value or that kind of a thing. Demographic wise, it's really kind of all over the place. I haven't noticed too many trends, but definitely, there's a lot. We have a lot more dog owners than cat owners in our, customer base. So that would be what we see.
And from my side, it really varies brand to brand. Like you're saying, it's a reflection of the brand's customers. Interestingly, all the preconceived notions about a demographic fit for SMS have been popped. Like early on, we were like, oh, this will only be a fit for like folks in their 20s. That's not true. We work with brands who target more middle-aged folks, and they see crazy engagement and response rates. And the same is true in reverse. So we really see that like American consumers in general use SMS to communicate. And so they're open to it from brands. There isn't a demographic line.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my parents are texting me, so they're probably texting companies. And I know my younger siblings are texting, so they're on it too. Everybody's got, it's a new form of communication, or less letter writing and more SMS for everybody all around.
Mm-hmm.
Next question we have is, how can you use Postscript for abandoned cart? Does it have similar conversion rate as something like live recover or tone messaging?
Yeah, so I know them both well. So I'm going to get a little nerdy on SMS right here. So live recover and tone, and there's a couple other folks in that vein in the space. They offer agent-based abandoned cart recovery. So that is not an automated system. That is, they have a team of human beings who, when someone abandons a cart on your site, they text that person manually and say, hey, can we get you to do anything to complete your purchase? That's not what it says. I'm putting words in their mouth. That falls under, we didn't really talk about SMS compliance today. It's very, very strict. Human-powered messaging like that falls under a completely different compliance structure than automated messaging, like what Postscript is for and like the sort that we're talking about today. So they both convert well. They can target different audiences. It really depends, I think, more than anything on like the sort of experience that that you're like looking to create with your customers. If you want that like live agent touch, then that's a great option. If you want to just keep it in a single channel and instead have all your SMS use cases happening in one place and have it be automated, then Postscript might be a good fit. So we also though have lots of customers who use Postscript for all their automated messaging and then use something like Live Recover for having agent-based abandoned carts only. So it's kind of a pick your adventure situation right now. And I think long-term, we're working on integrating with all those folks so that the message still happens in the Postscript powered thread with all your other notes, but you can have a human in there from those services doing the selling.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Lauren, but our abandoned cart automation is actually our #1 automation in Postscript.
Falls right behind the keyword automation, but it's up there. And it's definitely getting a lot of our revenue, and we're very similar to what we have going on with email.
Nice.
Yeah, super happy with how it's been working for us. Another question we have is, while answering questions to customers, is there a lot of similar ones? Is it possible to create templates to them? Any generalizations? At least I've seen you using a few templates, but I'm happy to let you expand on that.
Yeah, my templates are just from memory. You're always going to get a lot of questions that are repeat questions. And sometimes I will save them to the side so I can just copy and paste them into the messages. But Alex, I think you can, move forward with I don't think there's any templates, which is what I love, because they're getting that human experience and not, kind of like a robot.
Yeah. Right now, there's no templates in Postscript today. I think we're working on some really cool stuff this year around like smart response analysis, so that like we filter out the noisy ones. You can engage with them if you want to. We sort the ones that are asking about like shipping, things like that. The other thing that we see is sometimes folks use a help desk and they integrate Postscript with their general support help desk. So like response text messages get pushed into Gorgeous or Zendesk or Help Scout or whatever the brand is using. And in that way, there is like templates and there's like sorting systems in there. So it's a little bit more of the standard support framework. But we also see tons of brands doing exactly what Elise described, which is like trying to keep it more anecdotal and personal.
Next question is, what's the best timing to avoid? Gonna guess this is gonna be a time of sending messages, and I know we have quiet hours.
Yes. So there isn't a hard and fast rule here. It varies a lot brand to brand and what the actual message is. I think the worst timing I see is tone deaf stuff. So when there's like maybe a national event going on or some sort of tragedy, I see a lot of marketing texts go out despite that. And then I see the responses come in and they're hyper negative, and those brands get trashed on social media. So that's the bigger timing thing that I would like warn folks against, is being smart about, like, when you send a text, it's a relatively loud thing to do, right? People look down and they see it on their phone. So ensuring that like you're being responsible with any like larger events going on. However, we don't see some magic time of like 1 o'clock on Thursdays is magic and 10 p.m. on Wednesdays is awful. Really varies brand to brand.
Yeah, I find that not too early and not too late during the day is a good, rule of thumb for us and our company. I don't want to have a text go out while someone's eating dinner with their family or sleeping. So usually kind of late morning, early afternoon is typically a good rule of thumb for us.
Yeah, I wanted to speak to the mentioned earlier the quiet hours. So for SMS compliance, you're not supposed to send messages from 6 p.m. to 10 a.m. Correct me if I'm wrong in that time, Alex, but I think it's somewhere around there where SMS is paused.
Yeah, that's best practice, to like hold campaigns overnight so that you're not texting people at midnight their time. That does not make for happy customers.
No. Another question, how do you re-engage people who have unsubscribed from texts? And say on this, once similar to email, once they're unsubscribed, they are out of that, you're not able to message them or send them anything else anymore. If you have them on both channels, there is the possibility to try and re-engage them there using, again, those quarterly, hey, remember we have an SMS channel, like come over here and sign up, as a reminder to get those offers and things like that. But Alex, have you seen anything else used to kind of re-engage then?
The two things come to mind. The first is be really sensitive with your list. This is an important marketing channel for the next decade. So like be really targeted. Don't spam them with endless campaigns. Put education up front. Use transactional messaging so that folks feel engaged. Do responses that it's two-way. That'll lower unsubscribe rates. That's the first thing. But if you want to try to claw some folks back, compliance is really, really tight in that you cannot text anyone who's unsubscribed from your list. That will generate a major penalty. You can end up in a class action lawsuit. It's not worth it at all. It's much more onerous than email. So instead, like Lauren, you just described, exporting your unsubscribe list, maybe targeting them with an opt-in email quarterly to try to get them back, maybe even uploading their phone numbers or their email addresses into like some sort of Facebook targeting sequence and trying to get them re-engaged through ads. Those are the two main tactics we've seen to drive re-engagement.
Awesome. Going to jump to the Q&A. We have is it possible to elaborate a little bit more on abandoned cart recovery with Postscript, tips and tricks? I know for us, tips and tricks, we have our abandoned cart separated for new customers versus returning customers. For new customers, they get a general abandoned cart message first, and then the second message will be, hey, here's a small offer to help convert you, 10% off or something like that, as well as a reminder for that discount if they haven't used it. Versus returning customers receive a different language. You know how this product works. We know you love it. Here's your, and then setting up those reminders as well. Alex, have you seen anything else that stands out to you?
That is like an A-level framework. And if people want to keep going down the rabbit hole, what I would say is just keep using segmentation, keep using trigger filters. Like what our special sauces at Postscript is pulling in every ounce of data from your Shopify instance. It's a really unique thing we do. So if you are a brand that has a hero product of some sort, right? There's one product that like is the main purchase and it sells really well. You should break that out in its own abandoned cart flow. And maybe it's multi-message and it has education in there and you're trying to push to conversion. Or similarly, you can do user level filtering. So like, you know, if folks have bought, to your point, several times before, or if they're totally new, or if they've added something to their cart before, but have still never bought. And you can just keep going down the rabbit hole of being more and more tailored and targeted based on the makeup of your business. And for brands that have hero products, even if it's several, or for brands that see a major split between like first time and recurring customers and the LTV there, I would encourage them to have broken out abandoned cart threads.
Absolutely. And then as always, A/B test your messaging and things like that.
Yes.
And see short, is it supposed to be long? Do you include the dynamic image and things like that?
That's a great one.
Next question. Apart from SMS, any plans to move to other services like WhatsApp or Messenger? A lot of users seem more comfortable with those.
Yeah, so this will be another nerdy SMS answer. So there's a very specific reason that we don't focus on those platforms. They aren't open. They are owned by, in that case, by Facebook. And Facebook has rules, and those rules often change and update. Whereas SMS is an open protocol. It's truly owned. You own those phone numbers, you own the subscribers, you own the relationship with those end users. And that's really valuable. For example, right now on WhatsApp, the only sort of engagement you can have is what's called a support engagement. So you can send a message out on WhatsApp if that user has texted you within the last 24 hours. But if they haven't, you have no way to send an outbound message. That's an enormous limitation compared to all the marketing use cases going on right now and what drives the majority of revenue for brands. So when rules like that are in place, and it's similar with Messenger, or when they're constantly changing, we view it as a risk for our customers to have them focus on building up those assets. If that changes in the future, then we're open to change. But right now, we really like the fact that SMS is open for that reason, because it's truly a known channel. There isn't a platform getting in the middle, and we think that's super important.
Next one is, how can you combat the onslaught of robo scam texts that are always being sent from bad actors? Should you avoid sending links?
Should we avoid what?
Sending links.
So, okay. This is a great one. What's going on with SMS spam? So the political use cases don't help. Every political season, it gets really bad because the political system in the US passed a different set of regulation for how they use and share subscriber data and text than for how every other business can. And it's much less restricted for them, which is unfortunate. So how we combat it and how we think about it is actually on like the side of Postscript, we screen with a human every single brand that comes in before they get enabled to send text. So like there will not be spam going out through Postscript because they need to be approved by a human. And there's a bunch of ways we can look at that through both data and like looking at their creative and making sure that the thing that they've connected to Shopify is real and has actual customers, et cetera. How you can avoid being filtered by the mobile carriers like Verizon and T-Mobile, and how you can ensure your deliverability is really good and isn't being associated with spam, is just by working with a quality platform like us. So like right now, we're going through a huge migration where we're working with the mobile telephone carriers who deliver all these messages to set up every single customer of ours over the coming months on a dedicated phone number that's registered with them. So as that transition takes place, we're moving to a spot where there will essentially be verified phone numbers that your brand has a distinct one through which deliverability and quality is not guaranteed, but is much higher and isn't being filtered like all the random automated generated phone numbers that are coming out all the time are. So we're moving to that world. And ideally, it's something that working with a tool like Postscript, we just abstract away for you so you don't have to worry about setting up or dealing with.
Awesome. Yeah, and I would say too, sending links, Postscript does tiny links for us that are kind of branded, so it doesn't look like so much the gibberish you get from those spam links where you're like www.pnlmo, and it's not going to look like that. So it feels a lot safer.
Should be a branded link. Ideally, as this rolls out too, it's a newer thing, but you should be using contact cards in your welcome series so that the end consumer saves that phone number as being associated with your brand, maybe with a picture or something like that. Branded links, like you said, and to like the point Elise keeps making is like the conversational voice and tone, like having it not seem and feel like spam.
Awesome. Want to give everybody warning, we do have 8 minutes left, so get through as many of the questions as we can in those next 8 minutes. Next one is any way to use AI to auto reply to common questions like shipping, returns, policy?
Not today.
In the future, we'll get there.
and some cool stuff coming in that vein. That's all I'll say.
Awesome. That's exciting. Next is, do you have the ability to include Postscript SMS into email journeys? For example, customer doesn't open abandoned cart email, trigger SMS message.
Is this one for me? Yeah. So right now we don't offer integrated journeys with Klaviyo. That's something that we aspire to offer. Hopefully we can get the like API endpoints from them over time needed to do that well. I would love to offer that. The closest thing we offer right now is segment and list syncing. So you can sync lists or segments over from Klaviyo to like dupe or include them into your SMS blast. So the example would be not SMS blast, the SMS message. So the example would be if you have a segment in your Klaviyo list of like folks who didn't click yesterday's campaign, and you sync that over to Postscript, and anyone who's subscribed to SMS that also matches that list in Klaviyo, they get the SMS text you're sending out. So it's a little bit more manual than we'd like right now. There is some orchestration ability, but there isn't like very smooth journey level orchestration right now.
Awesome. And then last question we have on the board right now is, are there any upcoming compliance updates laws we'll have to address regarding customer data? Or is Postscript relatively safe since the consumers are actively opting in and out?
Yeah, so the regulation that governs SMS marketing compliance is called the TCPA. It's the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. It's very old. It's from the 90s, actually. So it's not something that's getting like updated every single day. And it's pretty explicit. If I was to boil it down to one sentence, it would be that you can only text users who've explicitly opted in. That means they send the first text. That means they check the unchecked box, things in that vein. And there also needs to be the proper compliance language in the place for all those calls to action to sign up. So how Postscript approaches the problem, because the only thing we do is we work with brands on Shopify, we try to abstract all that away. So if you are a Shopify Plus brand and you're able to collect opt-ins at checkout and you use our snippet of code to do that, we display the most up-to-date compliance language there, and it's not edible, so you can't get yourself in trouble. It's the same with using things like our pop-up technology. So we try to bake and we have double opt-ins put in to add another like layer of safety. So it's something that like if you use I'm not going to say we're the only ones. There's absolutely other compliant e-commerce SMS platforms. However, if you're using a tool focused on e-commerce and focused on SMS that is of quality, they should be taking care of the compliance level for you. And that's what we do at Postscript. As far as updates coming, there aren't really like TCPA legal updates coming. However, there are lots of deliverability updates coming. So there's like the government regulating it, and then there's mobile phone carriers who do deliverability, right? Verizon, T-Mobile, folks like that. And so they're the ones pushing this movement to register dedicated phone numbers, and they regularly have updates. And what our approach is there is also just to try to like take care of that in the background. So like moving folks around as needed between telephony structures and ensuring that their deliverability is high.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for attending. Alex or Elise, is there anything you guys want to add before we end the webinar for the day? Any closing thoughts?
No, if you have any questions for me, my email is listed. I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have. That's about it. Thanks for having me.
Same from my side. I'm always available, email or on Twitter. I hang out. Thanks for joining, everyone.